pretty yellow bird fly away into the sun.
All right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Nice looking, beautiful looking Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in. When my son was younger, we took a trip to New York, and we purposefully went to Ellis Island, and we stood in Ellis Island, which was completely empty except for a few tourists, and I explained to him how his would have been his great grandmother, my mother would have been his grandmother. I always forget how his grandmother was 3 years old. Mm-hmm. 3 years old when she came here in 1925, and the story of how his great grandfather, my grandfather, in 1 year earlier came over by himself because his grandmother had some kind of a fever or something, and they wouldn't let her over.
Yes.
They wouldn't let her over until she was well. So my grandmother and my uncle and my mother had to stay in Germany in 1924 until 1925, and that must have seemed like forever for my grandfather. But he came here, and I'll be honest with you, I don't really know the reason. I don't really know what he was leaving, but Germany became what it became, so maybe he had a hunch that things weren't going to be so good, and he said, let's get out of Dodge, or whatever the expression would be. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to put the cover of the book on the video. Here it is. Okay. So, and of course, when you're on Ellis Island, you're just a stone's throw, if you have a good arm, from the from the Statue of Liberty. And I've always had a place in my heart for immigrants, and it doesn't matter whether they're from Europe or not. I've always thought, wow, I understand why people want to come here. As great as the rest of the world as some countries in the rest of the world may be, I know they're not all great, but there's really something special about the opportunity that is here. Bernie Lee Smith-DeBoe, am I saying her name right, Robin?
Yes.
She has written the book that I wish I could have had shared with my son when he was little. She's an historian. She's a trailblazer for women's rights. She became the first woman to work as a business manager at a large chemical company. She's an advocate for civil rights for everyone, and she's written this really outstanding book. You have to get a copy of it. It's called Americans Knocking at Freedom's Door, The Uniquely American Heritage of Religious Freedoms and Government of and by the people. Good morning, Bernie Lee Smith-DeBoe. Good morning.
You call me Bernie.
Thank you. You can call me Larry. Good morning, Bernie. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I did write the book, and I wanted to start from the beginning because a lot of people don't understand our early history, and so they can understand what happened over the centuries and right up to our present situation today. So your relatives came over for freedom and opportunity, the same thing that the early settlers came over for.
Yeah, probably,
And we don't want to see it destroyed.
Where are you right now? Where are you calling from?
At home.
Where?
When you were talking about your weather, our weather is nice here too in Georgia.
Oh, you're in Georgia.
We've had some pretty bad weather. Oh yeah, I was born in northern Indiana, a small town in northern Indiana. Of course, they don't think it's that small. And my dad got transferred and moved to California, and then business-wise, I came out here too.
Nice.
It is interesting the melting pot that the United States is, and how the Southeast has become a melting pot of the melting pot. A lot of people from the northern cities are moving into the Southeast.
Oh yeah, and one of the reasons, and not so much for freedom and opportunity, but for weather.
yeah, I'm sure that's part of it. So do you have in your own history? Do you have stories of immigration?
Yes, and that's what started me thinking about writing the book for all Americans. Even if they came over later, earlier, or whatever, they all came over for the same reason.
And it seems like the immigrants that came over way back when in the late 1800s, the early 1900s, they had huge respect for the laws and the rules because, from what I understand, they needed sponsors and things. But now, when the immigrants are here, they'll be here for 20 years and not go for their citizenship right away.
Well, you talk about, and then we'll go back to what the early immigrants really wanted. You talk about the immigration system now, and in 19 1965, Congress ended the 1952 Immigration Act, and that also changed the number and the origin of immigrants. And of course, the immigrants could take advantage of the family reunification provision, which they could bring over their whole family.
Mm-hmm.
And President Johnson was president at that time, and he said the new law would not affect millions nor shape the restructure of our lives. But in that particular time when they changed it, it actually reshaped our American society from what it was in the past and created some of the immigration concerns that we actually face today. And so the experts actually that disagreed with that policy said it would lead to massive immigration from nations who would not understand our history and culture. So in 1996, also, Congress passed the illegal immigration reform, which addressed border security. And after the attacks on September 11th, Congress then created the Department of Homeland Security to specifically address the immigration enforcement. And they've had continuous updates to our immigration quota numbers.
Yeah.
And it favors Asia, Middle East, and other non-Western countries. So the Europeans are actually marginalized by that contribution. And so the other thing that I think I want people to understand is one thing we have to do, because we expect our immigrants to understand our culture and abide by the rules of the land and so forth, which, we developed way back when. But anyway, when the screening process also needs to be reviewed. Malik, the one in San Bernardino, was approved through 3 background checks conducted by the U.S. Embassy in Islamabad, but our naturalization system was changed in 2015. The clause where a prospective citizen states they are unwilling to bear arms or perform non-combatant military service because of religious conditions, expanded the request conditions, which has to be based on religious grounds, naturally. So with these changes, now the prospective citizen does not have to hold the American flag and stand during the Pledge of Allegiance, and they'll still become a citizen.
Oh.
Now, my question is, how the heck can they understand being the meaning of being an American? So really, we're starting here. We got to build up to what the immigrants from the very beginning did, but those are problems we have now, and this is why we see the diverse, statements and so forth from people.
The way I see it, the reason people wanted to come here, and you've already mentioned it very well, is that there were freedoms, and those freedoms included religious freedoms, and also the freedom to start your own business. And and that is economic in nature, and the freedom to fail at your own business. We never had this government safety net that if you start a business and you fail, don't worry, we'll catch you. It was always your family would be there for you. Maybe your church would be there for you, but you didn't ask other taxpayers to involuntarily be there for you so that you could start any kind of crazy idea you wanted. It's just, to me, I don't understand how that even makes sense to anybody. But that's what we're talking about, isn't it? Yeah,
I mean, family is very important, and I do believe in the reunification process by bringing over families. That's a good idea. Because families are needed.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, you don't want to split them.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one complaint I think I have, and I say I think, I don't want to be so sure of myself because I don't know that. I'm kind of asking you this. But it seems to me that if you are here illegally, you should be pursuing the citizenship that would make you legal. But the problem I have with the system, tell me if I'm right or not, it seems like it takes too long. It seems like the system, let's say somebody wants to come here from, from Spain or whatever, okay? They're just coming over, okay? They want to live here, and now they're ready to do the process, and 10 years later it's still not done, but they've done everything right. It's the dragging of the feet of the red tape that I think is my complaint.
Oh, and I agree with you, and that's where government has to come in, Congress and everybody has to come in to shorten it up. You can't blame it on Homeland Security, the people that work in immigration, they have to follow the laws.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly what it says. There's a time frame for
Absolutely.
everything.
Boy, I love what you just said, because a lot of people do blame the wrong people. They blame the law enforcement officers and not the legislators who make those laws.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in the meantime, we understand that when people are over here and they're not citizens, they can actually go to the Social Security office and sign up for benefits.
They can do a lot.
Right, exactly.
And a lot of people come over for that reason, too.
The book is called Americans Knocking at Freedom's Door. If you're watching the streaming video, I do have a photo of the cover of the book on the streaming video. Since Bernie is not in the studio with us, she is Bernie Lee Yoder, in parentheses, Smith-DeBoe. Well, you've got a long name.
Well, yeah, but you know what? See, a lot of people, Yoder was my maiden name in northern Indiana.
Okay.
And my grandfather was raised Amish, as you know from the book. And so they knew me there going to school before my dad got transferred as Bernie Yoder, right? So then when I moved to California, and then I got my college degree and everything and started my work process, I got married, and they knew me as Bernie Smith at that point.
Ah, okay.
So and now, you know, I hyphenated my name because my late husband did pass after heart surgery for a bypass.
Oh, wow.
And so now the people know me as Bernie, and they still knew me as Smith out here, so that's why, and now it's DeBoe too, so that's why I hyphenated the name. So it's the different areas in my life, different times.
Bernie, I wanted to talk a little bit about the enforcement of the immigration laws, because of the current president has a completely different view of what we should do with immigration compared to the last president. And I'm not trying to be political here, but I wanted to get your thoughts on this. If we have laws that define what is legal and what is not legal, whether it's marijuana or immigration, whether it's marriage or anything, if there's a law, then as you mentioned already, we shouldn't be vilifying the law enforcement, right? Okay. So the lawmakers are the ones who we have to go to if we want to change. And currently, there's nothing that I saw that Donald Trump said that indicates he doesn't want immigration. He wants the laws that govern immigration to be abided by. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, I see that too. And actually, the only time this administration was unjustly vilified is his second executive order on immigration.
And remind me
that he did everything really legal. Remember the first one, they rejected the judges?
Oh, right, okay.
And then the second one, yeah, he did everything legal, and they still turned around and rejected.
Right.
That's the only thing that I see right now, because people talking and criticizing everybody, it's just really ridiculous. This is not how to make a country great.
I think what your book does, just to make sure we are fair to the book, what the book does is it reminds us. It reminds us of what the Founding Fathers intended for the people who live in this place called America, right? That's what I think your book does. And I think if you remind, I always picture people are pretty good, most of them. We got a few bad knuckleheads, but most of them are pretty good, including people who are right now living here illegally. They're probably pretty good, but if they don't understand where we come from, then maybe they don't understand what we're about. And I think your book can help in that regard.
Yeah, and I did quote a lot of past presidents and so forth, what they said, and the founding principles, and you know, everybody, Frederick Douglass, Martin Luther King, many people were involved in establishing and changing the country to be better.
We've had a history as humanity, not as just Americans, but we've had a human history of people trying to get away from people like the North Korean situation right now. How many of those people want to get away from that?
Yeah, for sure.
Right? I mean,
yeah, for freedom and opportunity.
Yes.
And they always, when the immigrants, it seems like the majority of them put immigrating to the United States at the top of the list before they want to go to other countries. Is it because that we're so tolerable of newcomers and the other countries are not?
I think we're trying to make sure it's a diverse country, because really the early immigrants were European, mostly.
Right.
This is a Judeo-Christian country. And the reason they came here, because it was so bad in Europe at that time. It was a feudalistic society, and princes and nobles controlled everything, and you couldn't preach try to bring up your religion there because you were persecuted. I mean, it was really cruel at that period of time. You were killed, persecuted, and so forth.
Yeah.
And the immigrants need to know this about our history, our cherished freedoms, and they need to abide by the laws and our Constitution. In reality, there'd be no problem today if the immigrant is vetted by United States officials, too. And the immigrant does understand what it is to be an American and abide by the laws. That would really help. But really, the immigrants need to know about why we came over here and why the people came over here at the very, very beginning and so forth. And what they actually accomplished, because the first ones came over in 1608, but the big wave came in 1700.
And they risked everything. They sacrificed everything they had so they could have freedom. They sacrificed homes and families and.
Oh yeah, they hated to leave. They hated to leave Germany, but they had no choice.
Yeah.
They had no choice with how they were living, and they were afraid for their life, fear, and so forth. And they were faced always with religious persecution unless they were the religion of choice in that state. And a state in Germany at that time was more like our counties. And Britain needed to develop their North American British colony, and they needed workers.
Right. Bernie, we need to take a little break, but don't go away. We'll be back with more. The book is called Americans Knocking at Freedom's Door. Bernie Lee Yoder Smith-DeBoe is our guest, and we'll be right back with Bernie after this.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Sunrise Automotive, this is Matt.
Hey, Matt, it's Dan.
Hey, Dan.
Listen, we're going to be doing some traveling, and I need to make sure the car is in good shape.
Why don't you just bring it on by? Let us check it out. We can check all your belts, your hoses, your tires, all your fluids. In out of town, is that up north in the cold?
Yep.
Okay. Let's check your antifreeze. Also, let's make sure your washer fluid has got alcohol in it so it doesn't freeze up north, because that makes for a rotten day. And let's check your air pressure in your tires. Let's look at your brakes, make sure everything is safe and secure there. Let's go through it and just make sure everything is ready to go on the road. You due for an oil change?
Yep.
Whenever you come in to get your oil change, we always check your belts, your hoses, all your lights. We go through and make sure that everything is working properly. We check all your fluid levels. We do that every time you come in to Sunrise Automotive.
So just call you back at this number?
Yeah, just give me a call back at 690-1993 whenever you're ready to come in. And you can drop it off, leave it with us, whatever is most convenient for you. Look forward to seeing you at Sunrise Automotive.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Hi, this is Vanessa Lane Jennings with the Jennings Law Firm, located here in beautiful Ocala. Join me every single Friday at 10:30 for Legal Lane. We'll be discussing various legal topics such as family law, criminal law, contracts, and much more. So this is your chance to call in with your legal questions and have them answered. That's every Friday, 10:30, right here, WOCA The Source.
All right, 25 minutes after 9 o'clock. Gosh, when you have a good interview, then the clock is like, it's like a Mister. What? It's 25 after already.
I was going to say, I thought it was more like 10 minutes.
I know. That is Bernie Lee Yoder Smith-DeBoe. I want to talk about your parenthesized name, Yoder. It's an Amish name, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And you've got long heritage. I was looking at the back of the book. Your ancestry, your genealogy goes way back. And so, did you hear stories as a little girl about the immigrant? I mean, where did they immigrate from? Your earlier immigrants.
Well, they all started out. I've got a portion in the book about the Shawabian tribe. Most of the people that came over here early were from the Shawabian tribe, and it took me a while to figure, because I just spent 2.5 years on this book, and before the Civil War, it was mostly European history files and other countries' history files where I got the accurate information. And so they did start out originally when they started moving over to Scandinavia from Turkey.
Wow.
So, and then I took it from there, what the tribes actually did and how they migrated across the country. Land was getting scarce there, and how the tribes mingled with each other, how they got their names, and so forth. So, a lot of people thought that was interesting. They didn't know anything about their prior history, that's for sure, all the way from the ancient tribes. But that took me a while. That was when I was about ready to quit.
Wow. So do you
trying to trace the Shawabian tribe for everybody?
So do you still adhere to the Amish culture? I mean, do you live that way?
Oh no. In fact, my dad, nobody. Actually, my grandfather was raised by a family in Kansas because his mother died in childbirth when he was 2, and he was taking care of his sister. And she was going blind, so nobody, so he was transferred to my great-great-grandmother's, brother or something. Right. And when he came back after school, he decided to go out for Rumspringa and then join was a guard at the White House, was at the San Francisco cleanup at the earthquake and forth.
Wow.
And he met my Irish grandmother, but it took him a while to get. I realized that writing the book, why it took him a while, because he wasn't sure he wanted to leave the Amish religion.
Gotcha. Oh, wow.
But I was raised, but mind you, my mom and dad both worked, so I went to school from their house. So they were like second parents to me. And so I've heard of, the forgiveness and all that, that they believe in. They're very good people.
My gosh.
There's so much in this book that you thought you knew, and it helps you maybe to clarify some of the things you only knew a little bit about. The Huguenots is one of those words I've never really understood, and you helped me out a lot with the book. It's called Americans Knocking at Freedom's Door. I have a copy of the book that Bernie sent us, so call me if you want the copy she sent us. I will give it to you. The rest of us have to go buy it. I did find it on Amazon. Do you have a website you can direct us to?
I've got Americans Knocking at Freedom's Door that the publicist gave me.
Okay, Americans Knocking at freedomsdoor.com?
Americans Knocking at Freedom's Door, yeah.
Okay, and I did find it on Amazon, and it's available as a Kindle, it looks like, so that's a good deal for somebody who prefers the ebook. Let me give this one away, and good morning, you're on the air. You've got the book. Who's this?
Ken.
Ken, you know where we are?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Ken, you've got the book. We'll put your name on it. It'll be waiting for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy reading it.
Yes, enjoy reading it. Absolutely.
It's very marvelous that you're able to share your history and your perspective on your life. There had to have been a few things in the book that made you very emotional while writing it to stick with the accuracy.
Well, the heritage I got, and I didn't know the Amish community, and I walked over there one day with my heritage in my hands and said, "I'm part of you." That's how I got to know them.
That's amazing.
Let me just correct something. We said that the website is Americans Knocking at Freedom's Door. That's the title of the book. The website is knockingatfreedomsdoor.com, just so you know.
Oh, okay, because I got it at the top of the page, Americans Knocking at Freedom's Door. Okay.
Yeah, I just checked it out, and it's without the word Americans, just knockingatfreedomsdoor.com.
Are you sure that's not somebody else's book?
I'm looking at it right now, Bernie. I promise you. I'm looking at it.
We checked it.
Thank you so much for being on the air with us, Bernie. Good luck with the book, and you're welcome anytime. If you're ever in Central Florida, come into the studio.
Oh, I might do that.
Thank you, Bernie.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu.
This is an historic moment from which there can be no turning back.
British Prime Minister Theresa May, after officially triggering Brexit talks a short while ago, the EU Council President saying that the withdrawal has made its community more determined and united than before. As storms rip across some southern states, 3 storm chasers killed in Texas.
The storm chasers were in 2 SUVs racing in different directions. They collided at an intersection when one of the vehicles ran a stop sign west of Lubbock. Tornadoes had been reported nearby and drenching rain.
Fox Radio's Kathleen Maloney. And a driver in South Dakota who called police for help saying he ran out of gas is accused of stealing a deputy's squad car and leading authorities on a 140-mile chase before he was caught because he ran out of fuel. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Sure, some surprises are cool. Parties. Gifts.
How did you know? I love it.
But at this point in life, your goal is to cut down on surprises. Between house, spouse, and job, you want to keep it simple. That's where Humana Dental comes in. Humana keeps it simple with plans starting at $17 a month. And anyone qualifies, regardless of age or pre-existing conditions. Humana. Simple? Yes. Surprises? No. Enroll today. Call 1-855-832-8331 for your free guide. Or go to signupforhumanadental.com. Again, plans start at just $17 a month and cover 2 cleanings and 2 checkups per year. Call 1-855-832-8331.
Insured by Humana Dental Insurance Company, Humana Insurance Company, The Dental Concern, Inc., Humana Insurance Company of New York, and Humana Health Benefit Plan of Louisiana, Inc. Waiting periods, limitations, and exclusions apply. Preventive Plus plans not available in Alaska, Hawaii, Oregon, Vermont, and Washington. Rates vary by state and are subject to change.
Council. Have you scooped up your share of terrific bargains on roses at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens? Come on over, take a look-see. Bob has every kind of rose you can imagine in all kinds of colors, including knockouts, hybrid tea, climbing roses, drift roses, even rose trees. Bob's quality roses start as low as $15.99 this week. Don't forget that azalea sale with dwarf ever-blooming red ruffles, still record low priced at $3.99. Great selection of spring bulbs, too. Caladiums starting at just 99 cents. Great idea, hummingbird and butterfly plants starting at $7.99. Come on over this week. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, just a mile east of Lake Weir Avenue. They're open daily till 4:30, Saturdays till 2, in the same blooming place since 1952.
That was the sound of a tree falling. It could be your tree. You're going to have it trimmed, but never got around to calling Pride Tree Service. It could have fallen in a field, and now all you have to do is call Pride Tree Service, and they'll have it quickly out of the way for a great price. But don't wait until the tree falls. It may not fall in the field. It may hit your car, your house, or worse. So call Pride Tree Service today and avoid all those headaches before they happen. Pride Tree Service, 572-2510. That's 572-2510.
The NFL alumni is sponsoring a Clays for Kids, a sporting event to benefit the Marion County Children's Charity. The event will take place at the Robinson Ranch in Inglis, Florida on Saturday, April 8th. Call 427-0950 for detailed information. The NFL alumni will provide gift bags, breakfast, lunch, prizes, and drawings throughout the day. Call 427-0950 for detailed information on the Clay for Kids sporting event, hosted by the NFL alumni.
The boom is back. The largest air show in the South is returning to the skies of Lakeland for Sun and Fun 2017, April 4th through 9th. Don't miss out as the U.S. Navy Blue Angels make their return. Witness aerial acrobatics and high-powered performances by some of the world's most incredible aerialists. Walk among historic warbirds on the flight line and explore vintage aircraft in today's modern military fighters, including the F-22 Raptor and the F-35 Thunderbolt II Joint Strike Fighter. Great times are waiting that you will not want to miss, including air shows daily. Plus, don't forget to take advantage of the Florida Resident Weekend Special, Saturday, April 8th and Sunday, April 9th. Enjoy 3 shows for the price of 1. View the night air show, including acrobatic flyers, a firework display, and return Sunday for an additional show for free. Make plans now to bring the whole family and feel the boom of Sun and Fun. For ticket information and showtimes, visit us at flysnf.org.
Big band lovers, listen up. Monday, April 3rd at 7:30 p.m. at the Riley Arts Center in Ocala, you will be able to enjoy the best of the Stan Kenton Legacy Orchestra. Ticket prices range from $8 to $30, so come out and hear Stan's most well-known music alongside fresh new material written in the Kenton style. Again, that will be Monday, April 3rd at 7:30 p.m. What a way to start a new week.